Welcome to the final live stream of my 64-day journey. A lot has been happening in the past week leading up to this final transmission, this final share of this series. I've had two incredibly powerful experiences of elevated states of consciousness, of the infinite. And usually these experiences come with massive transformation, massive revelation. And that's exactly what happened. And it was compounded, not just once, but doing it twice, one after the other, usually results in a pretty strong compounding effect. And that's exactly what happened for me over the past week. And while this was unfolding, only today morning, it fully landed what has been activating, what has been awakening, what's been transforming. And I'm so excited to be sharing this in this final stream because it's also revealing the next phase, the next stage, the next level of this journey. And let me get into it. I want to begin by addressing the title of this, which I haven't updated yet. So, okay, I will go ahead and update it after this stream is complete. But it was there in the introduction that it's the awakening of the guru. And I want to begin by talking about this label, this title, because it's part of my culture, it's part of my lineage, it's part of my heritage. And it's a word that has been so disgustingly corrupted and uh, taken, especially by the Western culture, and been made into a warning sign of all things. The guru has gone from being something that is a sacred title, a sacred tradition, a sacred role, to a warning sign, where someone like Tony Robbins even made a documentary claiming that he is not your guru. There's a Netflix documentary called I Am Not Your Guru by Tony Robbins. And it's so disgusting that people are using that term in that way without actually understanding what the term actually even means. And I had become so sucked into that for such a long time. The idea that the guru is a predator, the guru is someone who brainwashes you, the guru is someone who manipulates you and has all of these power games and basically all of this nonsense that's been associated with the word guru, but none of that has anything to do with what guru actually means. When someone says this man is a guru, that man is not a guru. Just because they are being a cult leader doesn't make them a guru. Just because they are doing something toxic doesn't make them a guru. Just because they have knowledge doesn't make them a guru. A guru is not a man of knowledge. I have studied gurus for the past decade, primarily because underneath it all, I knew that's part of my lineage, that's part of who I'm meant to become, and had such an aversion to this title, had such a strong resistance to becoming it, to becoming my real self, because I knew that this, not just the title, but the actual role, is the one that invites the most projections. because the role of the highest light, and that's what happens. Light attracts darkness. And I studied this for the past decade, primarily to study the missteps of past gurus, but also to understand what it actually means. And I'm going a bit backwards because this was the big awakening that happened just today, but this shift has been happening over the past week. So I will just be going back and forth between what's been happening in the past week, but I do want to address this right at the beginning because I finally today understood what is a guru, and I was finally able to accept the initiation, not the becoming of it, but the initiation to become it eventually. 2 years back, I had my initiation as a spiritual master, and that too came with a lot of resistance because once again I knew that that label would invite so much projection, so much trouble, so much resistance from people. Like, who are you to call yourself a spiritual master? Who made you a spiritual master? All of this nonsense, and people just don't understand that it's not just coming up with a fancy label that I like, which is what a lot of people do in the spiritual world. People just take labels and use them because they sound good, because they think they are that. People call themselves a shaman, a yogi, or whatever, and they have nothing to do with that at all. Not saying everyone, but so many people just use these labels with no meaning, with no weight, no substance. It's just a label that sounds nice. And my initiation as a spiritual master did not come from me. I was initiated as a spiritual master. I was given that label, I was given that title. I was literally told, you're no longer a spiritual teacher, you're now a spiritual master. And receiving that was at the same time such a deep honor because it was a realization, it was a recognition of the level I had reached, of all the work I had done, the effort I had put in to to work, to transform, to master the self, to master spirit, to reach different levels of self-realization. And at the same time, at that when I received that label, I was not ready to truly take on that identity. And so for the past 2 years, I had been working on really taking on the identity and the responsibility primarily of being a spiritual master, what that means, what that role entails, what purpose it serves in the world. That for me was the main thing to understand. And it was only in this week that I finally felt that I had completed that initiation, that I truly felt I have become a spiritual master. And there was such a deep sense of completion and wholeness in that, not needing any validation, not needing to prove anything to anyone, not even needing to say anything. Now I've been seeing this, especially over the past few months. The more I've been anchoring this role deeply and owning it and playing the role, fulfilling my purpose and my mission, people just recognize that power, that authority, and there's no resistance anymore. Where initially when I used to say it, people would just reject it. People would not even accept that I'm a spiritual master. It's like, no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to acknowledge that. That was the response from several people, and now it's just a recognition that, yeah, that's who I am. And at the same time, as this initiation was completed, this stage was completed, the next stage was revealed, and that really blew my mind because it took me even 2 days to realize what had happened. What happened in this experience was that I met my spiritual ancestors, not my birth ancestors, but my spiritual ancestors, my lineage. And I could see these other lives that I have lived. It was not that these were my teachers, they were not teaching me something. I was them, they were me. So it's not even a lineage in terms of wisdom passed down from one to the other. It's literally lives lived in continuation. And it was there that I truly started understanding the word guru, because I could see these gurus, these masters, these teachers, whatever label you want to use, but the power that they contained. And that's when today morning my mind was blown apart, because this, once again, I was in an elevated state. I was not as elevated as when this experience was happening, but I was just meditating and entering into this state. And that's when this transmission came through, that a guru is not a man of knowledge. It's not a being of light, even. Not just that. A guru is a container and a transmitter of infinity, of life, of divinity, of light, of the mystery. It's literally a channel that transmits exactly what is required for the person, as much as is required, as much as the person is ready for. There are several teachers who talk about receiving divine light, that there are people who are transmitters who play that role, simply because if a normal human was to come into contact with the pure divine directly, they would be destroyed. There needs to be a buffer that allows as much as is ready to be delivered. And who decides this is not the guru or the transmitter, it's the energy of the person. The guru is just a channel, a container, one container of infinity. But that's the thing, it's a container of infinity. To even understand this is not something the rational mind can usually comprehend. What does it even mean to be a container of infinity? That that is what creates power. If the infinite is just the infinite, it's everywhere. It's concentrating it into a container that creates power. That's what the sun is. That's what the earth is. That's what the solar system is. That's what the universe is. It's energy contained, being radiated gradually. If the sun just lets out all of its energy at once, it just wipes out everything. It's a gradual, not gradual, but a consistent radiation of energy that keeps the system going. If the core of the earth just lets out all the energy, this planet blows up. It's There's a pulse, there's a beat, the heartbeat of the earth that keeps life sustained. The same thing with any container of infinity, any transmitter of infinity. It's regulated. The guru is a conscious, regulated being that knows how much to emit. And this was something that was just absolutely mind blowing to me for me to realize, because I have seen the consequences of being overexposed to the divine, not just for myself, but several other people. That was also part of my training. What happens when the limits are not respected, when someone gets greedy? I was one of the greediest people, and I have learned that lesson so many times. So many times. My greed has destroyed me, has tortured me. I just wanted to advance very quickly. I just wanted to get the answers at the end of the road, as though there is an end. And each time I would greedily go too far, I would pay a very heavy price. Very heavy prices have been paid that usually make things much slower. I want to go very fast, I get greedy, but the consequences are so harsh that it, the burnout, the backlash of that usually requires an extensive amount of recovery time. Whereas when I have been doing it more gradually and respecting the limits, respecting the boundaries, gradually expanding, it's been so much faster in a sense. It's been slow, but so much faster. And now I really see limits as something so sacred, so sacred. And that's exactly this what creates the container for infinity, is that it limits it, it bounds it, it gives it form, it gives it structure, it gives it power. This is the dance of duality, of the union between the masculine and the feminine. The feminine, infinite power contained and allowed, not allowed, but given the ability to express itself infinitely within that container. Because if there's no container, if it's just infinite, it's chaos. There's no meaning, there's no purpose, there's no definition. Nothing makes sense. It's just infinite chaos. It's all dimensions mixed together all at once. It's the dimensions, space, time, all of these limits, bounds, containers, structures that give meaning, that give purpose, that create beauty. And that's the role of a guru, is to contain the infinite and transmit it. And I'm so honored and so excited finally to embrace this role. I have been, for the past so many years, trying to prove how human I am, just because I did not want to fall into the trap of people idolizing me, people putting me on a pedestal, people expecting me to be perfect. I just wanted to show all my imperfections. I just wanted to show, yeah, yeah, look, I'm still very human. I needed to constantly prove that I'm human, and it has been so exhausting, and it has been so sad to realize how I have been diminishing myself just to prove a point, just to avoid getting projected upon. And today, I finally liberated myself from this, and it feels so light. Finally, there's such a relief to just say that yes, this is who I am. I am a guru awakening, and that doesn't stop me from being human. That doesn't make me a perfect being. For me, a guru is not a perfect being. It's a human that has become a container for infinity. And that is a role, it's a function. And yes, there is a lot of power in it. Yes, there is a lot of responsibility that comes with it. And yet, I love my humanity. There is an old model of the guru that even the guru wished to become perfect. Even the guru wished to transcend their humanity and just be a divine being. And each guru is also unique and different, and that's not the type of guru I am. And even in my lineage, there are some gurus who have played that role and tried that role, and there are some gurus who have done it completely differently. And I'm going to be sharing my lineage and talking about my lineage in the next phase. But my lineage is very diverse, completely different approaches, teachings, perspectives, each valid, each extremely powerful, each very potent. And that's what makes me the infinite zero, is that I'm here to integrate this diversity, to show that there are infinite paths. It's our uniqueness. It's your uniqueness that is the path. It's not to follow the guru. The guru is an activator. My role at my highest is to vacate your system of limitations, blockages, to create a container, to create the limits that can hold your infinite self, that is then expressed in everything, to to bring your unique piece of the divine within within this temple of the body, to house the divine within you, so that everything you do becomes divine. Every moment lived becomes divine. Even when you're watching TV, that too, there is a divinity in that too. This is the art of Tantra, is that there is pleasure in everything. But if it's done from the divine self, because the divine is here to experience everything. It's here to experience watching TV, it's here to be a plant, it's here to be a mosquito. It's here to be the tiger chasing the deer. It's the deer and the tiger simultaneously. It's the hunter and the hunted simultaneously. It's everything when it's done from the divine self. But you can do the most sacred acts from a completely empty place, and it will be completely empty. You can meditate, and there's nothing divine about it. You're just empty. You're seeking for something. You're grasping for something. You feel the void within you. You can meditate. You can pray. You can go to the temple every day. There's nothing divine about it. But you bring the divine within you. You clear out the pain. You clear out all the blocked energy, all the dead energy within you. We have so much dead energy within us that's just taking space. You bring life. You bring life in. You awaken life there. That is what is the role of a guru. Is to awaken life within you. Is to make your divine self come alive. And that divine self is connected to the primal self, the most primal instinctual part of ourselves. That too is divine. That's also dead in so many of us. That's why I spoke about the tiger energy, the tiger, the lion, the ferocity, that primal instinct. It's very divine. When it's fused, when it's connected, the primal self and the divine self in union. That's yoga. The masculine and the feminine in union, in harmony. It's not an avoidance of life. It's not an escape of life. It's not a transcendence of life. It's not killing the ego, not transcending the ego. It's a full union. It's a full human experience. That's the most divine experience. That's what I'm here to activate. That's the guru I am. And another big revelation that came through was that I'm meant to work with people in real life, because this work is very powerful, and there's only so much that can happen online. And as long as I'm available online, people will just take this diluted version, mentalize it, their ego will adopt it, turn it into something completely different from what it really is, and life just remains the same pretty much. beyond a certain point. I've worked with many people and there's been a lot of transformation, but there are thresholds and the speed is really capped. And the work I do with people offline in real life is just so much more potent and also so much more fulfilling for myself. And I received very clear guidance, which I am fully ready to adopt and embrace and make my own, which is to stop teaching online after a year. I'm going to have one final year of my final teachings online, and then I'm gone from the internet and I'm gone from social media. And those teachings will live there, but they will not be live anymore. And those teachings are just the surface, just an invitation, because they're just words. And while they may awaken and spark things for sure, because they will be divine transmission, it's really just going to be the surface, because I have been doing this work for lifetimes, lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes, from the beginning of time itself. And there is infinity. And that infinity is only accessed in person. And I'm really excited for it. It's going to be such an epic adventure. I have been living on the internet since age 6. And at age 36, I'm going to be going off the internet. For 30 years, I've been living on the internet. For me, it's probably the greatest addiction, so to speak. And it's going to be a fascinating experiment and adventure to watch what life looks like without the internet in this day and age, when everyone is going deeper and deeper into the internet, when it's becoming so much more advanced with AI, all kinds of technologies blooming. And I got the calling to go offline, to go much deeper into real life, to for me to connect to a whole different level with life, with nature, with everything. Because yeah, without the internet, I don't have much to do. I'll literally be living on my farm, doing whatever I do, being in presence, being connected. It's going to be a fascinating adventure, and this is not something short term. This is going to be a minimum of 7 years, if not longer. Could go as much as 10 to 15 to 25 years or the rest of my life. Who knows? I'm not committing to a maximum, but a minimum of 7 years that I will not be on the internet. And even if I do come back, I'm not going to be teaching on the internet. It's time for something different. I received a lot of teachings in this last week that the world is headed in one direction. The old paradigm is headed in one direction, and there's a new paradigm awakening. And the new paradigm is different. It's not war, it's not peace. It's different. And I want different. And if I want different, I've got to do something different. And going off the internet in 2026, 2027, up until 2035, it's quite different, I would say. And so I invite you to this final year of my online teachings. I don't know when I will be starting exactly, because this is going to be my living legacy. I'm going to give it some time to gestate, to to really get deep clarity on the structure of it, what this journey is going to be this final year. It's going to be a year-long journey, and it's going to be the last chance to work with me online. So, you, anyone you want to invite, this is the last year, the last chance to work with me online. And after that, come find me in real life. Yeah, I'm just wondering what else is there to share. It's something that has just blown my mind so much. When I received the invitation, I first couldn't believe what I was even receiving. I have been the guy who just loves computers and technology and the internet so much since the first time I got my computer at age 6, literally. The delivery of the computer was delayed. I was up till 3 a.m. The guy was supposed to come at 6 p.m. in the evening, and I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting till 3:30 a.m. when he came, set up the computer, installed it. It was 133 megahertz single processor computer. it, it sounds so ridiculous to even say that. I mean, right now, today we work in multi-processor gigahertz computers. Like even a basic phone has that power, and this was 133 megahertz of computing power, and it came with 20 games, and I was so excited. Even at 3:30 a.m. as a 6-year-old, I was so excited, and I just that was my sanctuary. The virtual world was my sanctuary because the physical world was very stressful for me. It gave me a lot of anxiety. School, culture, family, everything. Like it social life in my early days gave me a lot of anxiety. My sanctuary was the virtual world. I have lived in the virtual world for so long. The first time I took a break, I did a 3-week isolation retreat. I just disconnected from all electricity, technology, equipment, everything. Electricity also. So basically, no light, nothing. Completely entering into a natural rhythm and isolation and silence. So not using my voice at all, no matter what. Not even to cough, not even to. I ended up eating a bunch of chilies by mistake, not even to shout in, in heat, just silence for 3 weeks. And that is when I had my awakening as Theo. And that's the first time I entered into the infinite in this extended experience. It was midway through the experience that I just my whole identity dissolved, my consciousness just expanded and expanded and expanded into the infinite. And there I was for hours and hours. Not I had had enlightenment experiences before. I had become one with the universe, had gone into the infinite several times before. But it used to be for short durations, and then I would come back. And here I was just there for hours, for a few days. And as I was floating in the infinite, somewhere in between this experience, I suddenly had this download, this realization that okay, this is nirvana, this is enlightenment, this is absolute freedom, something I've been seeking my whole life, and I'm here now. And now what? I don't want to just live like this. I don't want to be in this state all the time. Like beyond a point that just becomes empty. And I actually love life. I actually love the material world. And I want to experience humanity. I want to experience this. But I don't want to lose the infinite. And that's when I received the guidance that my soul is dissolved. My identity is dissolved. Right now, I'm nothing. I'm absolutely nothing. I'm just pure consciousness floating in the infinite. And in that time, I received the guidance, okay, you have the opportunity right now to create yourself fresh, to create yourself new. And the way to do that is create a container for infinity. And that becomes my new energy, that becomes the new me. And I get to charge the infinite within this container with whatever I want. And I get to define myself, I get to choose who I am, I get to give myself definition. And that's when I chose to become Tio. Before that, I was Rohan. I was born as a human, given a name, given an identity, told who I am, told what to do, told how to behave, given a whole personality, given a whole set of beliefs, a whole set of limitations. And leading up to that experience, I had been dissolving everything, releasing everything. And in that experience, I was just nothing, becoming the infinite zero, the infinite contained in a sphere, in the zero. And today, I really feel I have come back to that in essence, that this is who I am, the infinite contained. But now I understand the role, the purpose, the mission of it. Because at that time, it was just the infinite contained. This is who I am. But there was no role, there was no divine purpose, there was no mission. And now I see the mission, the role of a guru as not just a container of infinity, but a transmitter of infinity. Someone who's meant to clear out the limitations, the baggage, the pain from other people, all the heaviness, all the darkness, all the stuckness, and to activate life, to 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 activate light and infinity within people, to clear their containers and awaken infinity, awaken life itself. And I'm just so glad that this awakened, especially today, as this final transmission happens. I'm so happy to have just shared this and put it out, and it just gives me such peace that I am fully out there. This is the real me. This is the full me. Fully human, fully divine. Here to play my role, here to enjoy life, to love people. I really found my love for people, for humanity, for Earth at a level I have never before. And over the past decade, I have gone through the full spectrum of feelings about humanity and life on Earth. When I say the full spectrum, I've been on the extreme of hating it, absolutely hating it, wanting to leave, wanting to transcend it, hating the ego, thinking that humans are a virus, like the Matrix says, that we are like a cancer on the planet, destroying this planet, having very negative feelings about humanity. And I worked through that. But I see so many people stuck in that. And that's not the truth. That's half a truth. That's only half a truth. If you are stuck there and you believe that this is what life is, that's only half a truth. I did not become a guru through denial or ignorance about what reality is on this planet. I'm fully cognizant. I have studied all the conspiracies, I have studied all the darkness, all the light, all the spirituality. I am very aware of everything that's happening in this world, the darkest and the lightest. And I found my love for humanity and this world and this planet in that truth, not apart from that truth. I don't even want to change the world. I love this world. I love humans in their perfection, in their imperfection, the beauty of just humans. It's not here to change, it's here to be different. And there's a difference in that. It's that in essence, life remains life, and pain remains a part of life. But you don't have to live with pain. You don't have to be carrying pain all the time. You can live a lighter life where we encounter pain as part of life, but you're not living with pain. Finding the pleasure, the joy, the love for life, purpose, fulfillment, experiencing abundance, the true abundance of life, this infinite source within you. That is the abundance. That's the first abundance. And without that, any external abundance is just going to feel empty. You cannot actually enjoy it. If you feel empty within you, you're only going to try and fill that emptiness from whatever's outside of you. But I'm telling you, I have enjoyed a grill toaster when I bought when I came to Brazil. I obviously did not have many things that I brought with me from the US. I brought my computer and stuff like that. But I came to a very simple house, and I bought a toaster to make grilled cheese sandwiches. And when it arrived and I made my first sandwich, I had so much love for that toaster. I couldn't even believe what was happening. I was so overwhelmed with joy at a toaster. Like, this is magic. Wow. Wow. And it gave me so much fulfillment. For years, I still have that toaster. And I still feel fulfilled when I use it. And that's the same way I feel about all my material possessions. I just love them. I love them. They give me so much joy. They give me so much pleasure. But there was a time I was addicted to everything. And I could consume it endlessly and just feel empty still. And then go to the next thing. Now I feel satisfaction. I feel enoughness. I got an Xbox recently and it's the best thing I've got in years. After 17 or 18 years, I'm playing games again, digital games. And I feel so good. I love it so much. But after some time, I'm good. I'm saturated. I've had enough and I've enjoyed myself. And I can do something else. And then I can go and read a spiritual book. And then I can go and eat ice cream. And then I can go and have a coaching call. And then I can do this and I can do that. I can do everything. And I enjoy everything and I love everything. For me, this is a fully divine human life. And it's so freaking good. And this is what I'm here to awaken in people, the love for life. So, this is my invitation. If you're ready for this as a final year to work with me online, and then the rest of my life offline, that is where the real fun begins. That's when magic happens that your mind cannot even prepare for. I guarantee you that. Anything that you experience with me online is not even a fraction of what's going to happen in real life. And it's magic. You can be as skeptical and as rational as you want. You can be a full, hard blown atheist, a scientist, a doctor. I've worked with all of them. I have been the atheist, rational skeptic, and I've had my mind blown apart over and over again for the last 11 years. And I know you don't need to believe for this to happen to you. That's not the kind of guru I am. That's not the kind of master I am. My work doesn't require your belief. If anything, belief is an obstacle because you believe something is going to happen. You believe something specific is going to happen. You want something very specific. That becomes an obstacle. But usually, skeptics, if they're not in full blown rejection and denial, they're pretty open, especially agnostics. And the magic that happens there is just absolutely incredible. It's real magic because we go beyond logic. We go to a higher logic. We go to higher dimensions. That is absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. And it's so much fun. So let's do this. You don't have to wait a year to work with me in real life. That portal is already open. I've already been doing it for a long time. It's only the final year of me teaching online, but you can come work with me in real life already. You can start working with me online and then come in real life. But the game is on. Let's play. This is the close of this chapter. 64 days of truth. This is me sharing my biggest truth. Really. Like, this is something, like I said, I've been avoiding for so long. Accepting the guru, accepting the call to be the guru. And I'm so happy to have reclaimed this part of my culture, my heritage, my lineage from an extremely toxic society that has corrupted this. And I hope that you also contribute in changing the perspective that has come from what I've shared here, that a guru is a container of infinity. The meaning in Sanskrit of the word guru is dispeller of illusion, the one who clears out darkness. That's the role of a guru, not what the West tells us, not what all of these fake gurus tell us and define the word guru. Experience a real guru and you will see the power there. There's a strong narrative of do it yourself, that you don't need a teacher. The guru is within you. You are your own guru. All of that is bullshit. It's all bullshit. I call BS on that. This path requires guidance. It's meant to be walked with a master. I've seen so many people destroy themselves, get consumed by the darkness in trying to do it themselves. There's so many people I have been I have met and I have been told that have just want to do what they want and the darkness consumes them. And that's the price of arrogance. To be humble is to know what you don't know and to work with someone who has gone through the trials, who has gone through the fire and learned been by being burned, who knows how to come out of the fire and not get consumed by it. That's it. That's it for today. It's my last live stream in this series. I will soon begin this 365-day journey in which I will be doing transmissions through text, video, live streams, short form, long form, everything. It will be partly on social media, but the main journey will happen within within a private space that I will be hosting. The full experience will be paid. You can already sign up for it. I'm going to be dropping the link in the description below, so you can go check it out. It's not going to be starting immediately, but you can sign up for it already if you're ready for it. And I will keep communicating the details as they come. Thank you so much for every one of you who has been on this journey with me, who has supported, who has shared, who has liked, commented, sent me private messages. It's been an incredible journey. This is not even the first attempt, this is the third attempt. My first attempt, I went for 25 days. Second attempt, I did one day, and then I next day restarted it and did this final series of 65 days technically, because I started with day zero, and that was a day zero before the day zero. So 66 days I've been going live every single day, and it's been truly incredible to just show up every day and speak from the heart. Just say whatever I felt inspired to say, to share my most raw, vulnerable truths. Today being the rawest, vulnerablest truth of all. And I hope it's also inspired you. That was one of my original intentions, was to inspire people to speak their truth, not necessarily online or on live streams, but even in your life, like just truly being yourself, owning who you really are, and trusting that this is the magnet to attract the people who love you for who you really are, who accept you for who you really are, and who don't need you to be different, who want to meet the real you. Thank you very much. It's the last day of July, and tomorrow begins a new journey. And when it's time for the final year, I will share an announcement on my email list. And if you've already signed up, you'll already be notified. But for others who are not signing up immediately and you want to join when I begin, you will get notified by email if you're signed up for my email list, or I will be sharing it on social media too. Thank you very much once again. Until next time.